Welcome, everybody, to another Solo Blogcast from Direct Application. I'm your host, Matt Harrington. Thank you so much for joining us today. A few weeks ago, I wrote and posted on my website a post about preseason strategic planning. Discover before you decide. And one of the ways we do that is through SWOT analysis. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into that post and give maybe a couple tips and tactics for you throughout this week to think about. So again, really discovering before you decide. And the concept there is to stay in discovery mode as you start to think about strategic planning, strategic retreats, or visioning exercises, anything that as we head into the fall and into the new year, you want to be working with your team, your senior leadership about planning for the future. We want to stay in discovery mode. Don't jump right into strategy or initiatives before listening. The best planning starts with real insights, right? So again, going back to the concept of discover, be in discovery before you start to decide. That's all around that case for change. As we want to build a case for change or a case for planning or come to our team about why we should go left or go right in the future, we want data behind us to make that decision. And we want to have that we've listened and heard from multiple sectors, multiple ways, multiple areas that we're collecting data for that purpose. And so again, that discover before you decide. Remember, as we start to look at SWOT analysis, right? And pretty familiar with that: strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. The strength and weaknesses are all internally based. So that might be something like, I think we have a really strong team culture and that's a strength of ours. Or, our technology is becoming outdated. That could be a weakness, but they're all internally focused. They're all you can control. Opportunities and threats, on the other hand, are externally focused, right? So that might be something like we're seeing a great demand in services that we offer, or there's some shifting regulations and policies, and those are going to start to be a threat to us as well. So again, much more that we can't control, but we want to be cognizant of and be thinking about at all times. The other things that I've seen added in SWOT is successes and failures, right? So feel free to be a little bit artistic with your SWOT. It go through the normal SWOTs, but there's ways that you can be creative. And really what you're taking advantage of is if you grab this group together or multiple focus groups, you want to get as much data out of them as possible. So if you have to go off a little bit of SWOT, maybe look at some successes, failures, or prompt some other questioning. That's a really good thing to do. When we look at roundtables, you could break them up into, again, through SWOT, you could break them up into core functions. So maybe we want all department heads to come together to perform a SWOT, or we want community stakeholders to do a SWOT, or even donors, right? So we might have our vertical functions that we're going through, and that's perfectly fine. That's good to know. I think it's also powerful to have cross sections too, right? So a real diagonal slice of your whole agency. And so this might be, I've added a couple donors, some community stakeholders, a senior leader, a new employee, and some department heads, all into one group, all into one SWOT. Not only does that give you robust and rich data, it also gets them listening and opening their eyes to other people. So if you have a senior leader there listening to a new employee or a donor, all of a sudden they might be able to connect dots before you ever have. And speaking of connecting dots, one of the things we talked about in that post was one extension of a SWOT is you could do prioritization. And what I love to do is give out dots for each category, SWOT, to each individual. And once we've kind of gotten everything up on the board, you're going to give them 4 dots for each. They're all weighted 1. And I say, go vote. What do you think is most important? What do you think is a priority? You can use your vote all on one. So find your best S1, find your best W1, or spread them out. So it really is, again, creative, but quickly you'll start to see that patterns emerge, right? And so, wow, everybody's super weighted over in the obsolete technology category. That's a really good indicator for in strategic planning to be thinking, this got a lot of weight in our focus group. We may want to really think about it. Survey with a purpose, right? So going back to, it's great to grab those people together. This is a listening tool, not a checkbox. So you're not just trying to go through and get through SWOT. If, again, you find that more questions are valuable, ask those questions. Feedback is a gift. right? So people don't have to give us feedback. And so sometimes it's important to get your mindset in the right place, the belief. And the belief is no matter the feedback we get in SWOT, it's a gift because these people didn't have to give it to us. Part two is don't shoot the messenger. This person probably represents more people. This person was just brave enough to be in this focus group and share that feedback. And so don't shoot them is probably an emerging theme. And then finally, I think this is most important and also perhaps most forgotten. Wow, do I just have to listen to the customer? Is the customer always right all the time? No. Feedback is a gift. Don't shoot the messenger, but you get to decide what to do with that feedback. And you're going to bring it back to your team. You're going to bring it back to your retreat, and you're going to have robust, rigorous conversations, but you all get to decide what to do with that data at the end. And so that gives a little bit more power to you, and I think authority and decision-making for that. Ask before you ask. So before you go into a SWOT, be thinking about, will this process drive decisions? Do we need new data? Do we need to host a SWOT or not? Have we closed the loop before? Have we already answered that question so we don't need to go back to it? Are we open to hard truths? Do we want to listen? Is feedback truly a gift to us? And do people trust the process? Sometimes it's when a consultant comes in and runs a SWOT or a facilitator, a trained facilitator, so that it's not senior leadership trying to run a SWOT where I may not be as open and honest as I might be with a third party. Finally, remember that SWOTs are beyond just gathering that data. They're an opportunity to have a good exercise for leadership and listening. They're a great way to connect diverse people, especially if you do that kind of diagonal slice. And so it's beyond even the process of SWOT. The SWOT in and of itself, the act of getting to a roundtable is powerful in multiple ways. And it really helps strengthen your organizational listening muscle. So hopefully that's helpful. Go over and check the blog, of course, the post if you want to read more information on SWOT. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Please check out and subscribe to our channels over on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and other platforms. And of course, head on over to www.harringtonbrands.com and check us out. Thanks so much.